So what we are saying essentially here is that it may not really be applicable for Amazon for all of the trading multiples for Amazon. For example, the EV to EBITDA might not really be applicable on the price to earnings or the price to cash flow. However, we could use the EV to revenue as our best estimate of the enterprise value of Amazon based on all of this comparable company analysis. So what we are saying essentially here is that we would take the revenue generated by Amazon for each business segment, and then we multiply that by the average of each of these multiples of Amazon's competitors. So we multiply that by the average or the median or their high or whatever we determine will be the best measure of the enterprise value of Amazon based on this comparable company metrics for the current trading multiples for EV to EBITDA. So for EV to revenue. So that's exactly what we are saying here. So we can use the EV to revenue since we have the revenue of Amazon for different business segment. For example, we can go to our financial statements. As you can see here, we have the revenue for Amazon. For example, fiscal year plus fiscal year 2021, we have here the revenue for the online stores, physical stores, third-party seller services, subscription services, Amazon Web Services, and advertising year, which is considered as other. So we can use year, for example, for the first-party companies, online stores and the physical stores. We can sum all of these. For example, 2021, we can sum these two, which is the revenue generated by the first-party division. So we can highlight all of these, and then we can sum these, and we can multiply that by the multiple for each and every one of the comparable companies for Amazon. So that's exactly what we're seeing here. So if we switch back to our comps tab, we will be able to perform some of the part analysis based on what we are talking about here. So it could be very applicable for the enterprise value to revenue for all of these companies that are competitors to Amazon for those various industries. So for the first party comps, the third party comps, advertising, cloud computing, and subscription comps. That's exactly what we are seeing here. So we can use these comparable companies as a measure of the enterprise value and ultimately the intrinsic value. And also we could also use the precedent transactions, which we're going to be doing later on. Precedent transactions is just based on past M&A activity for the companies that were acquired through that process, and then we would take whatever their current capitalization. We'll also take their financial estimates, and we'll use all of those to determine their trading multiples in order to arrive finally at whatever enterprise value or equity value we feel it will be another measure of the value of Amazon. So that's exactly what we are seeing here. So now let us begin by averaging, computing the median, the low, and the high for all of these companies in each of these industries. So let us begin here with our current trading multiples. So in this case, we calculated, let us begin with the average. So we take the average and take the median, we can take the mean we can take the high of each of these metrics which we calculated. So as you can see, we have all of that for the first party comps. So we can copy this. In order to keep the borders in place, we can fill this all the way to our price to cash flow, or ES, was placed as formulas. So we can also copy this all of these. Now, as you can see, we have the third party comps. We can also take the average of the trading multiples, the median, the low, and the high. So we can paste here all ES, F as formulas, and then we can use F4 to repeat the last action. As you can see, it's very easy for us to copy and paste. We use F4 to repeat the last action for all of the other industries. So we have that set up there. So we have that set up. As you can see, we have the EV to revenue, the EV to EBITDA, the price to earnings, and the price to cash flow. We have